You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into Holocaust.
We are the Holocaust.
Dalek, MasterChef hasn't been on the television all week.
Has it not?
No, I think it's got to the semi-finals. So there's been this drought, and I think it's on tonight, or it was on last night.
You're building to something, so I'm going to need another drink.
I kind of felt that maybe a soundboard would fill those gaps that we both would miss without MasterChef being there.
Yes, of course, a soundboard. Nothing says quality product like a fucking soundboard.
Well, that's what I thought, you see, because...
I was being ironic. It's come to this, has it?
For one show only, I have a soundboard which I will use to not add any value to the show whatsoever.
Okay.
Ooh.
Really, really think that.
Perfect.
You've been waiting for a context for that all week, haven't you?
Yeah. Although oddly, I'm looking for a perfect. The closest I've got to a perfect is a. And that's it. So that's not too bad. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
It would have been a perfect, except for the fact that
I used to be an adventurer like you, and I took an arrow in the knee.
Hey, Dalek.
Yeah. We are the Holocaust. Today is brought to you by Tudor Rose Cream. Classy.
And an unspecified rosé from the fridge, which has been in there for probably about 10 days.
Oh, well, it's aged then. It's got a vintage.
It is. It's got a vintage. It's an April 2013 vintage. Half opened. A little bit musty. Tastes a little bit of oak barrels, apples maybe, and the kind of mould you get on socks if you leave them behind the bin in the bathroom for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Well, my Tudor Rose Cream is the kind of drink that one typically buys from Iceland. So I'm getting a nose of toilet roll. I'm getting a nose of sweat. I'm getting slight hints of benefit and desperation. And if you finish the drink, just as an added bonus, if you hold it up to your ear like a seashell trying to hear the sea, you can hear a fat woman going, "Siobhan, don't make me come over there."
That's funny, because if I hold mine up to my ear, I just hear... Which is odd. It's odd to say the least.
We narrow the field just a little now as Wishnia reveals your comments in Points of View.
Oh, hey, I just had a message on Twitter from Synaptic Flare saying,
You want more agony uncle stuff, mate? Question mark. Assuming the usual level of lethargy from other Lolo listeners. Winky smiley face.
how cheeky is that? We get millions of emails.
I know, and they're not Lola listeners, they're sex cases.
Brown sex cases. We're inundated. There's a sack of mail outside that Dalek's got to pick up and work
bulging
through
sack.
tonight. His sack is so massive, he has to grab it with both hands. Sometimes he even asks for help to empty it on the living room floor. We get so much contact from our loyal Lolo listener sex cases. It's just cheeky. I just think that's cheeky. I know that, we just, randomly from the millions and millions of emails and Twitter hashtags that we got last week, I know that we used Sean's question in the newsbox section, but that was just luck. It wasn't because we were desperate for material or contribution.
Twitter actually offered to cut us in after hashtag MasterChef went viral.
Did you see MasterChef on Tweets of the Dead after our show?
Yes, I did.
I know. It was up there for must have been 3 days or something.
In fact, it
After our push.
inspired me to drop the bass.
Hopper man, Hopper man, Hopper man, Hopper man. You ready to make some motherfucking drop scones? Hopper man, in the oven. Hopper man, in the oven. Hopper man, in the oven. Pop him in the oven as they mark by. Hopper man, in the oven. Hopper man, in the oven. Hopper man, in the oven. Put the face on a liquid, make your face drop soon.
For fuck's sake, is Joystick forcing microtransactions into everything we do now?
I think we'll jump straight into our Lolacourse mailbag. We have got a text message, first of all. It comes from Bouncy Ball with an H after the second B, inside the Ghostbusters containment grid where he was trapped. Last week, if you were listening, you will know that we've got permission to run our own chapter in the Lolacourse flat. Unfortunate side effect is that Bouncy Ball has got himself stuck in the containment grid like a twat following a disagreement with Dr. Hamhock. I've got the following message from him. It's in text speak, almost as if it's been hastily composed while he was running for his life.
Well, I have no reason to believe that was the case, even though I accidentally mistook him for some political dissident of note.
I'll try and read it out. Hulp, line break. Let out, line break. Why bastards, line break. Sir Jimmy Savile in here, line break. Why bastards. So if I'm translating this right, it would seem that they have seared German Savoy in there. So at least they're feeding him well. Finally, we've got a little Skype voice message from our old pal, the Devil.
Oh, let's have a listen then, Dalek.
Hello, Lolacourse. It's your old pal Satan here. I'm currently enjoying a holiday at my timeshare flat in the Ghostbusters containment grid, which I keep handy for visiting my old muckers, the Grey Lady of the Library, the New York taxi driver with no face, and Jade Goody. I imagined I'd never see you again, but imagine my surprise and delight upon discovering the place was under new management. Perhaps I'll drop in on our mutual friend Bouncy Ball and give him an ouch after his bee. Ha 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 ha! I'm saying I'm going to do bottom things to him. That's what I was doing there. Two.
Just one question. How did you leave a voicemail? Well, it's two questions, actually. Number one, how did you leave a voicemail when we're not allowed phones? Maybe
On Skype. I just said that.
You stupid bull.
one question, Dalek.
Yes.
Why is it whenever we hear from the devil, it always sounds like one of us, like, with our voice put through a filter?
And then the pitch dropped. Ah, the age-old question. Why question it, Hawk? Just be glad to see a recurring character coming back.
Actually, Dalek, do you know what I found recently? Have a guess.
Is it some porn under a hedge?
In a way. Although when I was 12, I was with my then old friend Mark Sankey, and we were wandering from point A to point B, and we just happened to be walking alongside a dual carriageway. And in the bushes, not one word of a lie, this is like a 12-year-old's dream, in the bushes there's a black carrier bag, black bin bag, full of paper magazine pornography. But it was weird. While this may have been like a literal wet dream, all the porn was ripped in half, and there were no matching top and bottom sections. So there must have been about 30 magazines, but only the bottom halves are in there. We took the bag of porn. We then ran to the local nature reserve, because thinking that like maybe the feds were on us. So this tweeny paranoia that we had, that we thought that our parents automatically knew that we had porn, and the police were informed and they were on our tail. So we ran to a nature reserve in the town. Went into what are those bird spotting huts called?
I think they're called a hide.
A hide. That'll do. A bird hide. We then started to we then opened up the bag properly, thumbed through it, and then heard a car pull up in the gravel car park at the back of the hide. So we immediately thought it was the feds or someone out to get us. So we stuffed 90% of the porn in the rafters of the bird hide so people wouldn't see it. Yeah, there's logic. And then shoved the rest in our coats, and then escaped through the front of the bird hide into the nature reserve. We then split because we just genuinely thought that people were onto us and it was an imprisonable offence. I ran home, ran past my parents, straight upstairs, because that wasn't at all suspicious in the slightest. Took my coat off with the porn in it. Instead of taking the porn out, took my whole coat and stuffed the whole coat under the mattress, and I didn't touch it. And then a week later, the porn was gone and the coat was magically hanging up downstairs. And there ends the story.
I sort of like the fact that you stuffed it in the rafters of the bird hide, because it's sort of like, I'm imagining what conclusions they drew when they got in there. Had a bird of some sort been nesting in there, an incredibly rare bird, the porn magpie, only nests using pornography, much like me.
I just imagine you're in your house. You've got you've got a kind of conventional furniture and decorations, and then upstairs into the bedroom, you've got a conventional bed. But in the corner of the room, you've got a papier-mâché,
tearing the strips up and gluing them together one way or the other,
using your own special recipe.
My own special Evo stick.
Dalek.
Yes.
You mentioned ridiculous fishing last week.
I did mention ridiculous fishing.
And in my wisdom, for the first time ever, I took your advice and I downloaded it.
Oh God, you're going to have hated it, aren't you? And you'll never listen to anything I say again. That'll make a change.
In a way, believe it or not, no.
Sex talks about apps. I
think it's the awesome touches that you need to talk about when you're selling ridiculous fishing rather than the actual gameplay. You get the hook down, you get the hook up, you can have hundreds and hundreds of fish on your line, then you flip them into the air and you shoot them. Shoot them out of the air like clay pigeon shooting, like the best stage in hypersports.
Yes. I haven't tried it on my iPad yet. Only on my iPhone. All these Apple devices, I'm such a wanker.
The things that make it brilliant is that it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous fishing. You can put a buzzsaw on the end of your line to chainsaw your way through fish, but it has a limited amount of fuel that you can upgrade. You can tie a toaster to the line to shock fish off it, a toaster and a hairdryer for an extra extra go.
I've just got a toaster at the moment.
You can tie a bowling ball to it to give you automatic extra depth. You can buy a shotgun, Uzis, dual-wielded Uzis, miniguns. You can buy an orbital laser.
It's the only way to be sure.
At the end of each stage, there is a boss fish, and if you manage to fish it up, then you make a hat out of it. At the end of every level, you go back to the boat and you get on your little mobile phone, which is made of wood.
At the top, when you bring that up, at the top of this graphic, there's a little battery meter, which shows your actual battery level on your device. There's a little clock on there in the center top of this fake wooden iPad, which shows the exact time as well. So you don't need to leave your device if you're worried about your battery levels all the time.
And you can access Fishipedia, which tells you where all of the fish are to be caught. You can access Birder, which is sort of like a little meta version of Twitter, which is taking place in-game with extra fishermen inside the game who are, like, tweeting at you.
I'll catch this bird for you, but it ain't gonna be easy. Bad fish. Not like going down the pond chasing bluegills or tommycods.
And your fisherman tweets back at them automatically and basically just complains about everything.
Have you retweeted from Birder?
You can retweet from Birder, and you know I am all over this shit. This stuff that generates game content with, like, meta Twitter shiot.
That was eating my time last night.
Meta Twitter up the shitter.
It was the meta twitting up my shitter which ate my time last night. I was tracking down all these little Twitter accounts. Vice Beacon, Angmen Valuruko, and Birder for Birds, and Tough Mama Fluff, and this sounds like the gayest game ever. It does sound like it's right up Dalek Street for me, but I was digging it completely. The art
Twitter up the shitter.
For me. It's the
shitter.
And again, it's a little detail.
The shitter.
Details on it, which were just beautiful. You're playing this really, really simple, for me,
the shitter.
solid
The shitter.
game.
The shitter.
But there are little for me. There are little elements which just grounded it for me. The art style is beautiful.
Yeah, it's not retro. It's abstract in a way that looks retro, but actually isn't.
It's like triangular mosaic style. It's got this 45-degree vibe going on.
Sort of like Cubist with triangles.
Triangulist. Triangulist is massive in London, something this. Apparently. Also, the other little details were just the little graphical details, like his hairy grey thumb and his gnarled fisherman's
awful
thumbnail.
Thing, is the awful thumbnail, yes. Wanky word.
At the end of one of you hook a narwhal,
narwhals swimming in the ocean,
and you end up wearing it.
Yeah,
so you
make
skin
a
it
turban. You make a turban out of the narwhal.
This isn't so much extreme fishing; it's more like extremely unethical fishing.
And it's worth mentioning that there are rare fish which only appear very, very quickly as your hook is going up. It's the tilt gameplay of Doodle Jump, Sonic Jump, with a bit of a shoot-'em-up element, with a fake social element, with a Pokemon-style collect-'em-up element. And there's just no inch of it that isn't awesome.
All right.
I actually played it a couple of times and then let it rot on my iPad. And it was actually Jonathan Holmes of Subhomes who was talking about it a few weeks ago. And he said, I can see a lot of people playing this a couple of times and thinking, oh, wow, that's a really neat game, and then not playing it again. And you can't do that because it is just the kind of game that will reward the amount of love you give it with an equal amount of love back.
This game, and in anybody else's hands, would be a tortuous microtransaction market. There's a shop in it which is owned by a little China man or woman.
Which people have accused of being racist, by the way.
Because he looks like a Chinaman in a junk.
What do they say? Are we saying that it's not okay for Chinamen to own junks?
And it's not okay for a Chinaman to flirt with you on Birder as well, which is sexy.
Sexy chinky man.
What I was going to go on to say was that the gentleman who did the lovely music for this app... is a gentleman doing a remix on the Fez remix album. Disaster Pieces remix album, and he also did a track on the Hotline Miami soundtrack as well. So he's kind of been about, this dirty little music monkey with his chirpy chiptune, trippy rewind. And a highlight for me is that motherfucking music that comes on when the fish are in the air. And you're shooting, which sounds a bit like Contra. Everything about it's just right. It's just lovely.
It is.
Cool. I don't know how that's going to edit, because that was a bit of a mess.
I don't know how we're going to edit that lot down.
I'll need to put some like sexy music over the top or something. I don't know. Maybe something like
EA Sports. It's in the game.
That'll do.
That'll do for what?
Extremely unethical fishing.
That'll do. Yeah, that'll do for that sake.
Fire, you son of a...
Sex talks about apps. Holocaust Literary Masterclass presents Repercussions of Evil, a Doom fanfiction by Peter Chimera. John Stalvin waited. The lights above him blinked and sparked out of the air. There were demons in the base. He didn't see them, but had expected them now for years. His warning to Colonel Josen were not listened to, and now it was too late. Far too late for now, anyway. John was a space marine for 14 years. When he was young, he watched the spaceships and he said to Dad, "I want to be on the ships, Daddy." Dad said, "No, you will be killed by demons." There was a time when he believed him. Then, as he got older, he stopped. But now, in the space station base of the UAC, he knew there were demons. "This is Josen," the radio crackered. "You must fight the demons." So John gotted his Palsma rifle and blew up the wall. "He going to kill us," said the demons. "I will shoot at him," said the cyber demon, and he fired the rocket missiles. John plasmade at him and tried to blow him up, but then the ceiling fell and they were trapped and not able to kill. "No, I must kill the demons," he shouted. The radio said, "No, John, you are the demons." And then John was a zombie.
Dr. Hamhock. Last week, sir.
Yes.
You upset me. I have got a bone to pick with you, sir. And this is a duck bone.
Duck bone.
Ooh. You implied last week, you disparaged the cast of the original DuckTales and implied that they may not have the offers of work piling up on their doormat.
So in this section, let me guess, you're going to be telling me that they're all fucking millionaires and they're still working and ooh, the joke's on me.
Well, actually, I'm gonna like read you a couple of names and see if you can guess. Are they flush or are they flushed?
Ooh.
Down the toilet. I just made that up.
Like a toilet duck.
Yeah, Oh, touche.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, this will do.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
Oh, no, stop.
Seamless. Absolutely seamless, Hog. How are you not on the proper radio? I'm going to start with Russie Taylor, who was Huey,
porn
Dewey,
star of the 90s.
Huey, Dewey and Louie in the DuckTales 1987 series. Do you think she is still working, or do you think she is sucking cocks in a back alley?
I think she is still working.
She is still working. She's still working for Disney.
The reason why I said I got it right is because female voice artists are a little bit more valuable, aren't they? They can do children and women, right? Whereas guys, they can just do lots of different guys.
She is Huey, Dewey and Louie still in the Kingdom Hearts games. She has been the voice of Minnie Mouse in all the Disney stuff for the last 10 years. And, you might be surprised to know, she is Martin Prince in The Simpsons.
So she's flushed then.
As well as the two creepy little girls, the twins. Is it Sherry and Terry?
I have no idea.
Okay, moving on. Alan Young, the voice of Scrooge McDuck.
Okay.
What's your thinking
Scrooge
on...
McDuck. He can do old and duck. So maybe he's a bit more versatile than just your average guy. Maybe I'm not going to go exactly with my last theory of value and say that he's still working.
He is still working. Yeah. As Scrooge McDuck and nothing else.
Scrooge
the past
McDuck
10 years,
does Dallas.
Last 10 years, nothing but Scrooge McDuck. Mickey's Around the World in 80 Days, Scrooge McDuck. Kingdom Hearts, Scrooge McDuck. Kingdom Hearts 2, Scrooge McDuck. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Scrooge McDuck.
If you're a hardcore DuckTales fan, would you really still notice that a different voice actor was doing Scrooge McDuck?
That's strangely what I find kind of endearing about the whole thing.
I mean,
if you're Disney, if you're one of the most notoriously cutthroat and cost-cutting companies in the entire planet, then I just find it kind of cheering for the human spirit that there isn't somebody at Disney looking at the list of assets they've got to make a new product with and saying, well, yes, but how much of a resume does this man actually need to play an old cartoon duck? But no, it has to be that particular old cartoon duck-voiced man.
Hey, Disney, $5, you get this.
You finished?
Timing's everything. Is there another one?
There's one more, and that is Terence McGovern, the voice of Launchpad McQuack.
Oh, okay, I'm on the hat trick. He's not working. Oh, no! Whoa! You managed to look him up. All bets are off. He's still working.
He is still working, but not for Disney. But he is all
Bang
over
Brothers?
video games.
Oh.
Have you played The Walking Dead?
Mm-hmm.
He's Larry.
Wow, there you go.
Yep. You bashed Launchpad McQuack's head in, depending on your choice in game, not to spoiler anyone there.
Actually, so when I was kicking his ass, it went a bit like this. It didn't, but I would have liked it to.
But yeah, he's in Walking Dead, he's in Sam & Max, he's in the Batman games, he's in The Sims, he's just
wow.
The whole video games thing is just absolutely rotten with him.
I guess like most industries, there are go-to people who, are reasonable and solid and dependable, and they get in, do their lines, one take. Oh, don't you wish you were working with someone who's like that?
This is the news.
This week, scientists have revealed that a Canadian lynx was on the loose in England at the turn of the last century. Jonathan McGowan, a naturalist from Bournemouth, is one of those who believes that there are big cats living alongside our native species.
We have puma. I can smell cat spray. We have leopard and we have lynx. interesting. I can smell cat spray. Their numbers have escalated. Looks like it. We have so many that we have thousands of sightings a year by members of the public. This is one of my newest study areas where I can smell cat spray. It all started with me in 1984 because I was into watching cat spray. Once when I was watching a badger spray, I saw a puma come along and spray one of the badgers that I actually knew quite well, and I couldn't believe it. And so it set me on a sort of a task to find out whether there were any more of these animals in the area. I thought, I can smell cat spray. I've got to do a proper study about cat spray. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 12 years now.
Shall we play a game?
All right. I've been a good boy. I've been sticking to stuff for the show. I stayed up all night to finish BioShock Infinite.
Fuck.
What the devil have you been playing this week, sir?
No, a fat lot of fuck all, actually, you'd be pleased to hear.
All right.
Well, I haven't been playing BioShock Infinite.
I have.
Have you?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Played the fuck out of that. And you know what? It just lay there and took it. And now, when you play it, it'll be thinking of me.
I've got this lovely queue of shitty games that it will jump to the top of. Once I've finished Games of the Years.
All right.
But everyone and their mother appears to be playing it or have finished it. It seems like it's not too much of a time sponge.
No, it's not. It's only you could sit down and finish it in a day. It's easily doable on a rental. But you know, it just means it's like Portal. It doesn't outstay its welcome.
That's right up my street.
It is the kind of game that bears replaying, so that you can go, oh yeah, that was what was going on there. In gameplay terms, it's not terribly great. It is just BioShock again. If you're good at BioShock, then you'll rattle through this one, kill 3 guys, walk to the next room, kill the same 3 guys, repeat until you get to the end of the game. The first area took me a whole day to finish, simply because I was like a stoner locked in a room full of electric blankets, beanbags, and fluffy rugs. I was just rolling around going, oh, I've got to touch everything.
Something tells me that you're a little bit of a completionist, and I'm sure the 2 million listeners that we've now got will agree.
I am a bit of a completionist, but it's not something that I sadly actually have time for anymore.
No, does anybody? I think this is it. Unless you don't work for a living or you're a student, you're considered not a hardcore gamer because you can't put 40 hours into a fucking single-player game. The reality of your life and my life is that we want to be given treasures that we can explore within a reasonable amount of time. I don't know whether Dark Souls is like this.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
All right. Dark Souls I would call a pretty serious time sink, because it's one of those games that has a ridiculously deep and well thought out world, incredibly rich in detail, but there is no exposition in it at all. It is like, it just tosses you this incredible, beautiful toy with no instructions and challenges you to explore it and figure it out. BioShock, on the other hand, BioShock Infinite, tells a tale in a traditional narrative sense. And it makes sense on the first viewing, but it will make even more sense on subsequent viewings. Someone on Destructoid said, it's like a Christopher Nolan film in its storytelling, and that if you go with it and just experience it, it will feel incredible. But the second you start to pick holes, the whole thing unravels.
Yeah. Can I get a rewind?
No. All right. It's a fantastic game. It's short. Everyone's saying it's short. That's right. Everyone say the plot is bollocks. That's right. Everyone says if you just go with it and enjoy it, you'll have the time of your life. That's right. Everyone says that it has the most lush and incredible environments in recent gaming memory, and that's right. Yeah, go for it. But if you want, at least rent it. It is just the kind of game you cannot afford to not play.
Cool. Well, how many stars would you give that out of 7?
I would give it 7.
And how many anal hammers does that get out of 10 then?
Definitely 10 anal hammers.
Right up your back alley.
Yep.
How many months should you go in before having to introduce this into your life?
As long as it takes somebody to spoil the end for you.
I see dead people.
Which, given the internet, will be about 8.4 picoseconds.
Ooh!
What? You just got yourself caught in your zip there.
No, it was. I just got a nutty
professor. I'm just off to the toilet, lads. I've got a nutty professor, if you know what I mean.
Wouldn't you prefer a good game of chess?
Later. Let's play.
War. Fine.
Bounce in the basement, suffering a breakdown. We're on the internet, reading for the podcast. The man who made the Star Wars, bad job laid off. Disney bought LucasArts, watch him getting paid off. Look out, cunts, we are the Holocaust. God knows when, but we're doing it again. Making banner news and sketches and talking like knobheads. Old stuff, new stuff, video games, gaming. Hawkers on the mixer board and Daleks on the floor again. Maggots turn their toes up, lots there to talk about. Problem with the cock rod, tell it to the news spot. Shows crap anyway, Bouncy says the many Australian industry is dead in May. No more games to play, look out cunts, we are the Holocaust. New version Windows, Linux on phones, EA downloads, turn this all in the drones. Games that won't load, server overload, you don't need a weatherman to know the AAA blows. Bouncy ball trapped in hell, Dr. Hawk is at the helm. Dark sex not well, shows fuck time will tell. Try hard, retards, we're back, don't flail. Formats be nailed, all of it is bound to fail. Look out cunts, we are the Holocaust. We're losers, bleeders, Ubuntu users. Hanging around the theatre, want the film of Deadpool. Must be first in line for Q and since Easter, so watch the parking meter. Open platforms, Play Store, App Store, games are free to access, in-app purchases, Steam sale, Indie Bale, please him, send gifts, no hooks, all grift, 30 years of games and now the industry has come to this. Look out cunts, we are the Holocaust, welcome to our dark manhole, come and have a gander, hope you can handle our discarded ramble, not yet totally numb from all the dumb, the site don't work cause Jim Sterling took the domain.
We are the Holocaust.
If you've enjoyed the Holocaust, why not try these other fine holiday destinations? Visit the picturesque Monday Movie Show, which has basically the only movie reviews worth a fuck now that Ebert's curled his feet up. Make a side journey to the quaint Gamescast to enjoy their fine wines, gaming chit-chat, and to meet Britain's only spherical human. On Friday, the circus comes to town, courtesy of the Mature Gamer podcast and its fascinating menagerie, including the coated man and the girl who can only communicate via sex noises. And for those of richer blood, no true connoisseur of burping and swearing at the internet can afford to miss What a Fool Believes, the web's second finest purveyors of aliens references and saying cunt a lot.